All right, ready in Chamesh, Arba, Shalosh, Shtaim.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Where my mom's at? Where my mom's wearing thongs, hitting bongs at? Raising kids, cleaning shits, need a long nap. Where my mom's at?
Where My Mom's At podcast with Christina P.
Meow, 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 meow. Let's do some dates on the board. August 12th and 13th, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio at Hilarities, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then Brooklyn, one night in Brooklyn. And I added Detroit, Michigan, September 9th, Detroit. And then Chicago, September 10th. I know you're laughing. Ryan Sickler is with me, and he knows why we're laughing, because we started saying things and where we've noticed that people say things. How would somebody say Nashville? Nashville? Mashville.
I think they would put an M on the front of that.
Nash.
Out here we laugh because the
Nashville.
Mexicans say pizza. They put an X in there. Pizza. Give me a piece of pizza.
Pizza man. New York, Carolines, November 4th and 5th. And then I go to Biloxi, Mississippi, of all places, November 18th. Have you ever been to Biloxi, Mississippi?
I have.
Yeah?
Not to do comedy. I drove through it. I drove through it on my way to New Orleans.
Okay. I've never done comedy in Mississippi, I don't think.
I've never
Is
done
there a
comedy
club?
in the true South. Alabama, Mississippi,
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Louisiana.
Birmingham, you've done the Stardome?
No.
That is wild.
Is it?
So the Stardome, it's like 4 tiers up. The club is very unique, and it's not even a club. It's, I guess, a theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings in all levels. Like literally the first floor, the front is like the trailer park people, and then just to everybody. It was wild.
You can just see the
the
ticket
truth
prices as the tiers go up. Y'all got suits up there, huh? Bare feet down here? All right.
It literally, yeah, it was pretty wild. But they're fun. Anyway, with me, Ryan Sickler.
Thank you for having me.
Love you.
I've always wanted to do a stand-up show like the Blues Brothers with the fence,
The chicken
cage
wire.
in front. Yeah.
Go
Where
to
people could throw shit.
Sure, I know the venue. It's in Portland, not in Portland, but it's in the state of Oregon. And when I did a Tribble run at the very beginning of my career,
Man.
I did a show behind Chicken Wire.
Did you really?
I sure did. Yeah, it exists.
And did they throw shit while you were
yes,
up there?
I've had a beer bottle thrown at me.
Yeah.
But that was fun. And we're back in LA. Isn't that neat? I did not address that. We're here. We're here for 8 weeks to get out of the heat of Tejas, and it's good being back here. I miss it. I miss
you.
the grandeur.
I really do. I don't ever get to
miss
see you
you.
anymore.
Why don't you move
I
to
get
Texas?
to go to, because I have a child here.
So
Yeah, our parents didn't care.
they want your dad. My dad just been like, so come on. But
My dad left for good,
Yeah.
like forever good. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I'm gonna move just out of here, off the planet.
Okay. No, I'll tell you, my dad didn't. My dad stayed near me, actually,
He did.
to his credit. He always lived within 15 minutes. So that's good.
That's where I am. I'm like 10 to 12
Yeah.
minutes. It's like what you need to be.
And in LA, that's quite a feat. I mean,
Yeah.
that means you know how hard real estate is here. So
Who you telling?
You found
Who are you telling?
you found a spot, like, yeah. So how old is Stella now?
She's 7 now.
Dang, and Ellis is 6. Mm-hmm. Julian is about to turn 4.
4.
Big difference, I imagine, between 6 and 7 because I'm watching Ellis change so much.
Yeah, I'm starting to see more independence and wanting to be like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Let me do it. Shit like that. We just went to Ocean City, Maryland for a family vacation, which I haven't been. And there's no easy way to get in there. You're either flying into Baltimore or Philly, and then it's the same distance to drive down. So we went into Philly. We drove down to hang out with cousins and stuff. And we go to the inlet, and there's this haunted house ride. And all day she's telling her cousins that let's do the haunted house. And I hear her saying, I'm like, oh, this is cute. And she's hyping up because she don't want to be like, I don't want to do it,
Yeah, of course.
because they're older. And
You said odor.
and then at the
You said odor.
older.
Odor.
How do you say it?
Older.
Isn't that what I said?
How do you say milk?
Milk with an I, not an E.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I don't
interrupt
milk. I don't milk it.
Milk it. Yeah.
Milk those titties.
We're like 50. Isn't that funny? And we're like, milk those titties.
Listen, I hope we are the
Yeah.
new generation of, you're 50, you have to be a certain way. Yeah, fuck your way, man.
Yeah.
fuck
Gen X goes
your way.
hard.
Way
We don't
hard,
give
yeah.
a
We're the first gangster rap generation
Yeah.
when we're old enough to be listening to that. Like,
yeah.
you know,
We invented the internet, bro. Gen X did. We're not sensitive. Sorry, but so she got. Did she do it? The
so
haunted
she came
ride.
to me later today. She goes, if that day, she's like, if I don't want to do it, they'll have to do it. I got, no, you don't have to do it. But then she sat in between both of her cousins and rolled through it and just kept doing it, kept doing it. So I'm starting to see more of that, like battling fear.
Yes.
And, being more aggressive in sports and not so, nervous or tentative.
Can I tell you what I do? So the cool thing about watching the younger boy with the older boy is that, for instance, I get them. They had this fucking crazy bounce house I got on Amazon. Yeah, hot tip for the parents listening: if you want to buy yourself fucking hours of freedom,
I'm gonna get it now,
dude. Invest. They're like $300. The top tier is like $500 or $600. Okay, and I know that sounds a lot, but it's worth every penny. So it's inflatable, it's big as shit. There's a water slide, and then water, like you hook the hose up to it, and it's just a water park in your backyard, basically.
Oh, hell yeah. The
So
backyard I don't have. Oh, we'll be out my
front yard?
parking. I got a tandem parking
Damn it.
space, though. We're about to trick it out, motherfucker. We're about to trick it out.
Yeah, man, yeah.
I got a spigot right over there by it, too. I'm going to hook it up.
You think the hose, I mean, that's prime time at our house. All
Yeah.
we need is a hose to keep that 3-year-old.
Sprinkler, that's all we cared about.
Dude, I got them a slip and slide and
Yeah.
watch them fuck each other up. The point is, you have to climb up a steep ass ladder on this thing, and then they jam down the slide. And at first, the 3-year-old was like, "Oh, I don't know." And then, but he watches his brother, who's a cannonball and fearless, and he's like, "Oh!" And now Julian is like, "Yeah, face first, like,
Backwards and shit.
yeah." Yeah, and we were at like a neighbor's house in Texas, and they had a water slide there too, and he was just like, "Fuck you!" Like he was the only 3-year-old on that thing. The rest were like 9, 10-year-old boys, and he was just like double bird, like running up. And I was like, "That's what's up." So it's the same thing with anything. I feel like with comedy, if you hang out with bad comedians, you get bad. If you hang out with people better than you, you rise. And that's what I'm seeing with my
It's the
kids.
truth.
You let them get reckless. You let them. That's pretty much like what
holy
we have,
shit.
dude. It's so rad. Yeah, man, get this shit on Amazon.
Might be too wide for my parking space.
Could you imagine if you set this up in your apartment complex?
I should.
You kind of could by the pool. Do you have grass? The parents would thank you so
They
much.
would, really. They'd be like, did you
Especially-
rent this? I'm like, I bought this motherfucker. Don't worry, y'all. The whole summer everybody's rotating on lifeguard duty, too.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you just let them go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But even like, I encourage, like, I'm teaching Ellis to swim in the ocean this summer. That's my mission. And I want him to, like, really become a little badass.
I just did that, too.
Yeah?
And it was funny. We were at the ocean, so I'm teaching her about the undertow and
Yep.
tide and everything. And I told her, when you look back where you are, and in Ocean City, it's condos galore. I'm like, you find a spot on the beach, and then as you're playing, you'll realize when you look up, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, it's down there.
Yeah.
And then you get out and you walk back up to that area. Like, always have a point on land. And we weren't too close to this pier that they had a little ways, but a lot of kids kept swimming. You would see the lifeguards. I was showing her how they communicate with flags and talk
Yeah.
to one another, and we saw 3 people get pulled out in 2 days.
Because of like a rip.
Yeah, when
current
you
or
get
something?
closer to that that
so
pier
scary.
that goes out, it just gets way aggressive, and,
Yeah.
and that people don't realize it's just pulling them slowly.
Yep.
And then you look over and you're right there, you're like, fuck.
But isn't the ocean such a wonderful metaphor for life? What you just said. If you fucking fall into that rip current and you let life take you, the ocean, I think, is the greatest teacher. You can't turn your back on it, because if you do, that bitch is going to get you. And the waves are going to come at you. And what are you going to do? You going to fucking be a pussy and run? No, you better stand and you address that wave. You crash,
Dive
you
right
go
under that
in.
motherfucker. Right through it.
Yeah, and I told my son this morning, I go, because we were at the beach this morning, and I go, listen, the ocean's not for everybody, because people are pussies and they're scared of life. I go, son, you and me, we're savages. That's why we're up
true.
here at 6 a.m. wearing fucking wetsuits. I'm going to teach you to be a savage. I swear to God, I didn't say pussy, but I did say you and I are savages. I go, we ain't scared of shit. That's why we're here right now. And I'm going to teach him to fucking go. Yeah. Yeah, teach him. Life will listen, I know that and I think it's very commendable that this Gen Z, I've been doing a deep dive on the TikToks and but on their side of things, sorry. I've been not the weirdo stuff. They're so compassionate, and they're really, really, really trying to create a world that everybody feels seen and heard and loved in. I think that's really commendable. But I don't know.
Good luck to you.
Good
Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
I know.
Let's live in a world with no negative comments and where no one makes good motherfucking luck.
That's what they want. But you know what? Shit, they might achieve it. I mean, look, if you would have said to me in 1950, there might, I don't know, women will be able to become vice president or something. You might be like, hilarious. Women are cum dumpsters. They clean my house. They just raise kids, you idiot. So I don't know. But yeah, I think to get the rest of the world on board.
Well, listen, let's talk
that's
about
tough.
can we talk about the rest of the world for a minute? Because I don't want to get political, but as a country, we just had our first vice president.
I know, be a lady.
Other countries have had
That's so
female
true.
presidents.
Isn't that funny?
Several of them.
I know, and monarchs.
And we're talking about now the world will know. The world does motherfucking
so
know.
true.
World's been knowing. We're the only idiots over here. We still don't have a president, by the way. We still have not had a woman take the top position yet. We got a number 2 up in there.
I know.
In 2022 we are.
I know.
There are other. I feel I'm wrong a lot, but I feel like there have been some female leaders who've already been assassinated. We don't even have one that's had a shot taken at her yet. You know what I mean?
Like in the Philippines or something.
Yeah, right.
I know, and it's wild because even in like the Middle Ages, they had female queens. The most successful runs. The Victorian era was the most successful. The Elizabethan age was the most successful. And then even this old bag, still alive. I really love her. She's like got the second longest reign. Like pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty great to hold the crown. Anyway,
but we talk about how
so
pro-U.S. like you can't tell women what to do and cover their bodies and all that. But now over here, you can't have an abortion.
I know.
Right?
It's so
You can't
funny.
be president. Until you can't.
I know.
Show me that we can have a female president in this country.
What do you think is? Oh gosh, I mean, I don't know. What is it? Because we're such a young country. Like we're new.
Yep.
We're only 200.
You're with me on this. I firmly
teenagers.
believe this. I say this all the time. The United States is the teenager of the globe, of our world.
We
and
are.
we act like
So
it.
true.
We're young, we're dumb, we're full of cum. We're telling everybody what to do. We're in everybody's fucking business all the time.
so
Double
true.
middle fingering over
We're
here.
such assholes,
when we
yeah.
should be listening to the grandparents like Japan.
Yeah.
And the ancient Orient and things
Right.
like that. Are you allowed to even say that? I don't know if you're allowed to
No.
say that. Don't
I'm
bleep
just
it though, because I think you are allowed to
canceled.
say. I didn't put an AL on it. I said the Orient, and I think I think you're allowed to say.
Hold
that.
on, Natalia, are we allowed to refer to the place as the Orient?
Can you Google
no.
ancient? But if you could add the adjective ancient in front of it. Can you then say it? Because if you can't, you can. There it is. Boom.
Okay.
There it is. I'm
it.
all right.
We did it.
Woo.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the worst thing you can be accused of in today's world is to
Just
be.
trying to make Gen Z happy.
Oh yeah, the only thing, the worst thing you can be accused of is mean. That's online. If you're mean, that's number one, baddie. Number 2 is or racist. I think being racist is worse than being a meanie. But
I don't know. I think they go hand in hand.
That's true.
I don't know any nice racists.
That's so true.
you know
Yeah,
what
we're
I mean?
really blowing minds today, right?
Man,
you and
I
me
love
together.
Linda. She hates Asians. She hates Asians.
Look at us. We're doing.
I love Linda.
I love Linda.
Linda's a good
Yeah, are there
woman.
any
Hates Asians.
nice-
Will not let an Asian
She's
come
like,
to her
these
house.
goddamn Orientals. And she hands you like a cookie.
Yeah. These are fortune cookies. I made them myself. But I thought you didn't like. That's the kind of shit they do. I remember telling Tom one time, I used to tailgate at the Ravens games, and there would be grown white trash men walking around wearing Ray Lewis jerseys, Ed Reed jerseys, dropping the N-bomb.
Are these black players? Sorry, I don't know these
Yeah,
names.
those are black
Oh,
players'
no.
jerseys, and they're walking around dropping the N-bomb, and I'm like, you
no.
understand that you're wearing, yeah, but not him. I'm like, okay.
See,
All right,
that's
got it.
that is. I feel that is uniquely American. Is that idea of like, well, these are there's this delineation. Yeah, how interesting.
We're so behind the times because we are.
Yeah.
We're the teenager of the world. Absolutely
and
are.
and we're materialistic.
we
just
don't listen
like,
to anybody.
No, we don't. We're fucking idiots. Well, I think some of that too is being geographically isolated. Like we are not part of the EU and stuff.
The rest of the world.
The rest of the world, yeah.
The rest of the world's
Europe
over
and
there.
Asia,
That's because our
Mexico.
country, and again, we're still so new. People don't. all you have to do is study history, read what the Statue of Liberty says. Give me you're tired, you're weak, you're poor, you're crippled, you're fucking idiots,
you're ugly, you're
criminals,
fats.
you're rapists. Give me all of them.
You're
Bring them
racist.
over here. Yeah, give me your racist. That's what we said. Bring them here. Back in those times,
That's
when
so
they
true.
made dogs like the Cavalier King Charles
Yeah.
Spaniel just to
Yeah.
warm their pussy. We
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
you talk about
Yeah.
real power is
Yeah.
making an animal to
I
warm
know.
your fucking pussy.
I know.
Like that's power.
Wait, but
okay?
you bring up. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say like the Louis the 14th, all these people. When you were a fucking piece of shit in France, they were like, send them to the Americas. That was the dumpster.
That is so true.
You know what I mean?
The
That's where they
colonies.
sent
Yeah,
them.
it was
and
punishment.
Then those people
That's
built
so
fucking
true.
families here.
That is so
It's
true.
gonna be a minute before this place gets its shit together.
That's so true. You're
Good
right.
luck, Gen Z. I hope it is you guys. I hope it is you guys.
But it's true because you're right. It was send them to the colonies. And same with Australia. They sent prisoners to Australia. So like Australia and America are built up of basically people that didn't want to pay taxes.
Yes, we're prisons.
That were
Just
like,
prisons.
yeah.
Like, fuck that. We ain't
Fuck the
paying
queen.
that shit.
We ain't follow no rules.
Think about that, though, right? They, fuck your taxes, man. We're going to go across the ocean. And we're going to start a whole new thing over there. And then they did.
But here's the worst part. Not even the fun people. The Puritans.
Right.
So then these motherfuckers came here and just worked super hard. And then they're like, night, night. Like they don't even party. They don't even let their pussies hang out and,
Right.
and like the French and live and fuck. So our whole ethos is based on this puritanical
Yeah.
nonsense.
Put your
which is
titties away. Get your gun.
no abortions.
And get out there and
yeah.
fight.
So we like guns, we don't like abortion. All this non-fun. And that's interesting parallel to Gen Z because on the one hand, they're like the hippies, right? They're actually like the boomers in that they want peace and love, right? That's what the hippies became the boomers, correct? Like
Yeah,
that's
they're
the
boomers
same.
now. Yeah.
Right. So when they were younger, they were like, we're going to change the world. Everybody's equal. But they had fun. They were like, let's do a bunch of drugs. Tune in, turn on, drop out.
Let's fuck so
And
much
fuck.
that the next generation will have some new shit called AIDS.
Literally, yes.
Passed us a brand new
Yeah.
fucking disease.
There's nothing worse than that mid-afternoon slump. You know, you've already had your morning coffee and you're like, I can't drink another cup. I'll feel so jittery and weird. Well, that's why I love Feels brand new Focus Melts. They're unlike anything you may have already tried to start refocusing. Focus Melts are fast-acting, long-lasting, and they're caffeine-free. And they're just a tablet. They dissolve in your mouth and they help you get back into focus. So here's what they're made with. They're not caffeine. They're powered by tetracitrine, a naturally occurring compound that gives you the laser focus you expect from caffeine and other stimulants, but without the crash. Isn't that fantastic? It's time to say no to sluggish days and restless nights with Feels Focus Melts. Become a member today and save 50% off your first order of Focus Melts and get free shipping by going to feels.com/WMMA and use code WMMA at checkout. As a member, you'll save money on every order and you can easily pause, swap, or cancel at any time. That's feals.com/WMMA and use WMMA to become a member today. Say goodbye to procrastination, reclaim your day, and start feeling better with Feels. But this generation's not having that kind of fun. And I think it's because of like the pandy, right? There's partial to that. But like their whole thing is to who can have the least fun. Who can
Yeah.
be the least fun
You're
is
right.
their fun.
Not also
It's so crazy.
not to sound like old white people, but even now it's not safe to do drugs anymore. It
That's
is literally not
crazy.
safe to do
What do you
cocaine
mean?
anymore.
Oh, I heard it's laced with fentanyl.
Everything, but not just cocaine. It's the pill, the Percocets. All these pills are being
My yummy yummies.
stepped on. Yeah, they're being stepped on. So back in the 70s, you roll in a fucking
lewds.
a club
Yeah.
and you're banging a line off of some bar from a stranger. Now you're
Yeah.
dead if you do that shit.
I know, isn't that terrible?
It's crazy how you literally cannot do. That's why weed is the answer. It'll always
Weed
be
is the answer to everything.
It will always be.
And I used to think that LSD was until I saw this story on TikTok. This guy on
TikTok.
this TikTok. This is where I get all my news from.
turned you off the LSD.
Bro, listen. Like I did a lot of LSD in high school.
You did?
I did. I mean, for
lot?
me, a lot. Yeah, it formed my brain,
Yeah.
which explains a lot now. So anyway, this poor motherfucker was being interviewed, and he was wearing like a Phantom of the Opera mask to hide his identity. It was in Britain. He's like, I accidentally spilled the entire bottle of LSD on me. And he's like, how many hits is that? He's like, it's equivalent to 400 hits of acid. And he's like, how long have you been high? He's like, 4 years approximately.
No.
Yo, find it. It's on Vice's Instagram. TikTok. It is wild. And he's like, I see everything in fractals right now. And then they like do this effect that you can see how he sees.
4 years?
Bruh. Wild.
I've always heard of this
it's
story
on
about
TikTok.
a guy who had a bunch of acid in his pocket, like sheets he was going to sell, and then it
the
rained.
sprinklers went off.
Or some bullshit. And then I thought that was bullshit. But it spilled on him?
LSD. And it's in their TikTok feed right now.
Years?
Yeah, he's like, I've basically been on. He's got a fucking.
I went to a festival.
Phantom of the Opera,
sell some
man.
acid.
Oh, here he is. I've been
And
tripping for
ended
4
up
years.
spilling a bottle on myself,
So you absorbed it through your skin.
and I drank quite a bit of it.
So how much acid and
Drank
do you think
quite a
you
bit
took?
of it. There's a difference.
4,000, like,
40
times the
drips.
average.
40 times the average
40
dose.
times. That's a
I
lot of
was
hits.
Literally tripping 8 or 9 months after the incident, visually to the point where it was difficult to do things. I was seeing fractals, visual snow, exactly like an old school telly with just the black and white fuzz, and that covers your entire vision.
And are you seeing
Bro,
that
you're
right
not
now?
high. You
You don't
fried
feel
your
like you're on
brain.
drugs, but everything looks
That's your
like you're on
TV
drugs.
short
Right.
circuit in the black and
So
white fuzz.
just the
You know what I
visual
mean?
effects of the psychedelics have lasted
Yeah,
since you
It's
took
It's
it.
been 4 years now.
4 years.
effect
This
does
guy's
it
been
have
tripping
on
on
social life?
acid.
Who
Yeah.
would
family.
want to live like that?
But you're right. He goes, I spilled it on me. Actually, I drank it.
Yeah,
like, well,
I drank
what is
quite
it?
a bit of it, he said. Well, there's a big difference.
No, so it spilled,
Spilled
and then
down my
I opened my
throat.
mouth, and then it spilled into my mouth, and the rest was on my lapel. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Fuck. But weed, I agree, is a better alternative to doing hardcore hallucinogenics.
Well, I'm
and
just-
ketamine. I really enjoy ketamine.
I'm just scared of all of it. I always have been, though.
Yeah.
Look, if you're from Maryland around my age, in the 80s, there was a college basketball player named Len Bias, and he was as good as Jordan in college. He was going to the Celtics. He was drafted first round, their top pick. And then like 2 days later, he goes back to college to finish up everything, does some cocaine, and dies. Dies. And that was our say no to drugs, because everyone there was imagine growing up in Carolina and it's Jordan in college and he dies.
But did he OD? Or
Yeah,
like
he
he just
OD'd,
took
but
too much?
He OD. That was and that's the other thing. I feel sorry for a lot of people. A good friend of mine's daughter, she got some fentanyl a couple years ago, and I'm not trying to sound funny when I say this, but she went and got what I would say was a responsible amount of cocaine. She got a little bit to keep the night going. She was actually going back to her grandmom's place to stay the night, to take care of her in the morning. Just got a personal little bump, and it was stepped on, and it killed her. So I've been talking to my daughter already, who's 7, about fentanyl and drugs. I just had a whole conversation with her about marijuana. I admitted to her that I smoke it. I told her that it's medicine. I told her you can eat it, you can smoke it. I told her that my doctor prescribed it and he knows about it. I explained to her what CBD is and that not everything you smoke is bad, but some is horrible for you. You know, she knows my neighbor smokes cigarettes. I'm like, do you know I smoke? She's like, yeah, I know. I seen you on the balcony, she said one night. I go, okay. And I explained to her like what it is. I explained to her what fentanyl, because I feel like this shit's coming young for the younger and younger.
I know,
like already
it
in
is.
middle school, she's going to be in 5th grade like that. And I want her to say no to that shit.
Say nope to
You know?
dope.
And it's
oh
not
to
even
drugs.
because I want her to don't want her to get addicted. Right now, I don't want you to die from one fucking.
know.
So I had to explain to her, because my friend comes to visit us, and I asked him about his daughter, and she's like, "What happened?" And so I'm honest with her. I'm not gonna lie to her about it.
No, you should scare the shit out of them and tell them.
And that's
these
what
stories.
worked for me.
Same,
so
yeah.
it's never been. I've done weed, shrooms. I've had ecstasy a couple times, but it doesn't really work on
Yeah,
me.
me too. I've done it twice.
I
and
guess
just
I got
didn't.
booty.
Yeah, I think I got 2 bad things too. I was never like, this is amazing.
Right, but I was always scared of acid,
Yeah, it's
coke,
terrible.
heroin, any of that shit.
I
Like
smoked
pills,
heroin
scared.
accidentally.
You did? Mm-hmm. You smoked it accidentally. What's
In
that
high
mean?
school.
What?
Someone told me it was pot, and it wasn't.
What happened to you?
I got really relaxed. I was watching the Easy Stitch commercial. That's how it really, truly. I mean,
thought you were gonna say you freaked out and shit, but
oh, it was great. It was the best day of my life. No, I'm
Oh shit.
I'm still smoking heroin every day. No.
Well, that's. I mean, look, we're not new to this shit. It goes back to what was it? The Rolling Stone song, "Mother's Little Helper."
Yeah,
they all
yeah.
talked about the ladies popping speed back in the day. Didn't even
Yeah.
realize it was what they were really doing. They're getting prescribed pills and stuff. And boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, to live a drug-free life. I mean, I was doing something. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, "Are you on anything?" I was like, "I'm on Lexapro." And he's like, "Oh, sames." And I was like, "Look, if you are not on antidepressants or some form
What
of
milligram are you on?
10, I just do just a little something.
That's what I'm on too.
But if
I've been
you're
thinking about seeing what 20 will do. I'm just like, I don't know.
well, I mean, look, the last 3 years have been so hard, just
Oh.
for everybody, like COVID and
Wasn't
life.
it when you and
Why
I
not?
talked? I believe it was you that told me you did some research and it was 2020. The pandemic year was like one of the worst years to be
history.
alive in history.
In human history. There are some articles that came out, and I'm not sure. Like, yeah,
But
they
even
would,
if it's in the top 20,
It's like
that's
top
insane
10,
because
yeah.
every year of the 1600 should be before anything we're in. You know what I mean? Every year of the
Every year.
17s, 18s,
Yeah.
all of that should
You're-
be.
you're covered
There
in
should
dirt.
be no 2 in front of any of the top 10 worst years ever. Ever.
I know. I think about it all the time.
The
like,
dark ages.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that this was one of the top, even if it's a top
I
100,
know.
it blows me away.
Every time I take a shit and my toilet lovingly sprays my asshole with warm water, I thank God that I was born in this era,
Mm-hmm.
because I think about the Middle Ages a lot. Like, dude, or when my kids get sick, they have an ear infection. There was no fucking penicillin back then.
Nothing.
You just blew your eardrum out. You got a toothache? Guess what? We're pulling your tooth out
Put
today.
a patch on that ear, motherfucker. What's that
Like-
going to do? Nothing.
Yeah, your kid would just die from
Die.
fevers.
You would just die. Also, let's not forget about us back
Oh,
then.
long dead.
Yeah.
Long dead. 35, you're dead.
I wasn't even thinking, just let's go back to the Civil War. Wait, you want me to line up with a bunch of other dudes I don't know with a sword and walk towards somebody and then stab them? Like, fuck that. There's going to be muskets coming right at us while we're all doing
Yeah.
Fuck
Fuck that.
that walking tour. I don't even get to hide and shoot somebody. I got to walk right at them.
That's
fuck
right. Those
that.
old battle,
Yeah.
like,
just walking toward like there's
Braveheart. They're like,
fuck
like,
that
there's
shit. What
got
are
to
you
be a better
talking
way.
about?
I know.
I'm gonna hide over here and shoot at people.
But that was such an efficient way to war. The Braveheart way, like, okay, everybody, fuck each other up.
By the way, that's the guy to be if you're gonna be anybody. Is the bugle on the horse. He don't have to do shit. He just ride next to everybody like, you about to die, motherfucker. Ain't gonna see most of you at the dinner tonight. And then he circles off. He's off in the hills.
Are you allowed to shoot the bugler? Because I think there are certain people that are off limits. Like, you can't do
I'm
the
not
kings.
sure. I don't know what the real rules are.
I wonder what the rules of engagement are for that time.
Man, I'd be in the.
I'd
Why
be
are you always
hiding.
playing with that horn in your tent, Ryan? You'll see, motherfucker. Try to get this goddamn battle. I'll be every night. I'd just be working on that. I'm like, don't worry, guys.
To get out of the
I'll be
village.
I'll be right up front with you till the first one of you stabbed.
I know. Like Game of Thrones, I've started to
Fuck
get that. And it was like your aspiration as a boy was to grow up to be a great warrior and then get killed at 25. And you're just like, God, what a life, man.
What a fucking
And
life.
here we are popping Lexapro in our, late
Boo-hooing and
40s.
shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Getting my
I just got
ass
a
licked
pedicure yesterday with
by
my
the
daughter.
toilet.
I did. I got a
life's too
pedicure. She's getting a
long.
mani pedi. I'm getting a pedicure, and I'm getting a fucking calf massage. It was out of this world. You
What a
don't get
life.
that in the 1600s.
What a life. Isn't that amazing? I know. In so many ways, like, middle age is so great because you're over so many of the awful hurdles of your 20s and 30s. You've sorted your life out if you've done it, if you've made decisions. Like, you're sorted. You're like, all right, I had a kid, I had 2 kids, I know where I live, I know what the mortgage is or whatever the fuck. Like, you figured things out. So that's nice to have that piece assembled.
Well, I went and did things that my dad never had done, my family had never done, and also probably because they didn't have enough money at the time either. But instead of just pissing money away, I've took some of my money and I went and got life insurance for my daughter. I went and got a
Nice.
living will and trust so it doesn't get
Huge.
hung up in court for years.
Huge.
And by the time they get it, it's, everyone's taking their chunk out of it and now there's nothing left, So I did all that, started a fund for her. So I've done what I can do. Like as a dad, I've done my paperwork side of this thing in the equation. I just put that money there. I was like, I've been living without it for so fucking long. Might as well just make sure it goes over there and does something.
Yeah.
If something happens. So I took care of that.
Good. That's so adult. The Honeydew podcast, by the way.
The Honeydew.
If I didn't mind.
Oh wait, I'm over here. I'm gonna give you that wide though, in case you keep smiling. The Honeydew. Subscribe to the Honeydew podcast.
But it's funny because I think about like what I want to teach my boys. What is it? What is the nugget? What's the magic pill? And it ain't getting good grades. It's not about being a docile student and an obedient student.
Straight A student.
That ain't gonna. That's not what.
There's a lot of miserable motherfuckers
right.
at Harvard.
That's right. And it's not going to make you a successful human. I mean, there's, so I think about it, like, what are the lessons? And I love resilience. I think that's like number one. Is like,
number one.
Get up, do it again.
Get up and do it again. And hustle.
Hustle.
Heart and hustle those are things like when you look at sports, and I know you're not a sports person, but when you watch certain players get drafted and stuff, there's one thing that you can't measure, and it's hustle and heart. There's no, I don't know if it's, quantitative number to put on it. You can run this fast, you can jump this high, you can bench press this much, but are you lazy?
That's everything.
Are you fucking lazy? When you listen in our world,
God, that's
I remember
everything.
meeting comedians coming up and they're like, I've done 3 shows this month. And I was like, month? And then you start to realize as time goes on, like, oh, what you think hard work is and what I think hard work is are 2 completely different fucking things.
It's 100%
So
true.
heart, hustle, resilience, but I also genuinely believe in being a good person, being kind, loving, empathy,
that goes number
sympathy if
one.
you've been through it. Like, just be a good person. I don't care if you're a good student.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah.
But
you're right. The lazy shit, man. That's
it.
That is
complacency,
everything.
that just sitting around like, figure it out. That's the other thing I tell my daughter all the time. Be a problem solver.
Figure it out.
Figure it the fuck out.
It's so funny because in my family, the whole thing was avoiding problems. Life is problem. Avoid no problem. I want to go on vacation so I don't have to have problems. And it's like, well, that way of thinking is backwards because in that mindset, life is utopia. We were in the Garden of Eden, and then something bad happens, and you're no longer in the Garden of Eden, and let's correct it. It's like, well, no, dude, that's not life. Life is constant challenges and suffering, and it's mitigating and managing suffering, and to expect it to come and not be surprised, and then to deal with it properly. Meaning, like, you're going to have grief a lot in life. And the older you get, you'll lose more people, more things, and you will grieve even more. So like grieve the loss and then get balanced again. I think and I wish I'd learned that from my folks. I'd have learned that in therapy.
That's what I was going to tell you. We and a lot of people out there are at a disadvantage because I also believe we're the first generation trying to break these cycles.
1,000%.
I know that as a man, Tom, myself, I believe we're the first generation of dads, the really I love you dads.
Yeah.
Hugs, affection, not I cry in front of my daughter. You know what I mean? It's none of that machismo bullshit where you love you too, pat you on the back bullshit. I think we're very dads today are very loving. I see a lot of dads out there. More dads these days than I did when I was a kid at sports and shit, Yeah. But I also feel like the situation you went through growing up, me too, not having parents after 16, I really do feel like it is, I've felt it for a long time. It's been a 10-year setback in certain things. Like my street education, I feel like I have a master's in street education. You know what I mean? Like the school of hard knocks in life, I've got my master's, my doctorate, whatever.
Yeah.
But regular shit.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm still on the short bus. You know what I mean? I'm like, we'll get Christina. All right, we'll stop to get Christina.
Fucking idiot. Like, that's why we have these Pajitsky effects. They're just common sense things, but they're just things that I was raised kind of a wolf. So like, I wasn't raised
the
like
streets raised me.
Yeah,
they did.
I'm not.
No,
I'm a fucking idiot in a lot of ways. So I do have to learn these really basic things that most people know. And Tom's been really good about teaching me, like, no, this is how you act. You fucking idiot. You feral creature.
Yeah, I'm with your husband quite a bit in places that I do not feel like I belong.
Yeah, of
you know what I
course.
mean? I'm like, what? How do we use a fork in here?
Yeah.
You don't turn it over and you don't do that? You don't slide that fork through your teeth so people can hear it? Okay. Oh, lips. I use my lips.
Yeah, totally. So
Yeah.
many stupid things.
But just like money,
Oh,
no
that's
one's ever taught me.
huge.
Just in the last
That's
few years,
huge.
I'm being educated about money. You know, it was always save it, but okay, that's if you had it to save. I never
Yeah.
had it. It was live check to check, figure out how to budget that. And, you know, when I worked for UPS, shout out to UPS Baltimore Hub Primary, 1 Joe Avenue. When I was a supervisor, this is in my early 20s, they paid you once a month.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and imagine being in your early 20s trying to figure out how to budget. You just get this check, like you're like, yeah, and then you're like, oh shit, I still got 3 more weeks off this money. You know, that really put things into perspective for me too. But I never realized how to have my money make money for me. I never had money
No.
in stocks or 401k, none of that shit,
No.
none of it. So I'm so far behind when it comes to things like you say, like other people may even take for granted. Their parents might have started an account for them or whatever.
Or
you know?
even, so I came from a poverty mentality. Like, hold on to everything. You never know when it's going to go.
That's
you
right.
got scarcity.
If it fell off a truck, whatever, we're
Yeah.
looking the other way. Yeah.
I used to steal things. My mother would be like, put that in your bag. Put this in your pocket. Like forks and knives and good knives and stuff.
Encouraging you.
Yeah. So
Put it in your bag.
1,000%. I would steal butter knives if they were super nice. She would make me steal them. Yeah. So or sugar too. Like, why pay for that? So I'd educate myself too. And before we had money, I would read about rich people. So there's a great book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's one of these old timey books, but totally fucking accurate. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know that guy ended up going bankrupt, but
Nuh-uh.
yeah,
Rich
the
Dad,
irony
Poor Dad.
is, but that was a great book in that he always said you should pay yourself first. So when you get your paycheck, you put 10% into your savings, you pay off your stuff, and then pay back creditors and all this shit. Like, don't think that. But then there's also the emotional stuff that people have around money. And I think that's more important than any of the other practical stuff. I think there's an assumption when you don't have money, which you and I didn't have a ton of growing up, is like rich people are bad. They are inherently, they're shitty people. And there's some noble thing about being poor and broke. We're better than them. And you should hate rich people. And now I'm like, wait, why is that? That doesn't make any, like, there's shitty rich people. Yeah, but there's shitty poor people
There's
too.
plenty of shitty poor people.
Yeah.
They're in my family. Yeah. I'm related to some of them.
Yeah. But
But
like,
again, you said, give me your fucking
Yeah,
scumbags
give me
of
your
the world.
shitbags,
Here
yeah.
we are.
it's so true.
You know what I mean? Here
You know
they
what's so
are.
funny? On the way here, I drove by Cupid's Hot Dogs. And that's
remember
where I used to
Cupid's.
have dinner with my dad. Every, like, once a week at least, a Cupid's chili dog with mustard. Now I was like, I almost started crying because I'm like, talk about, you know, your humble beginnings of like driving through the 818 and just seeing all this shit that you're like, I never thought I would get past this.
Right. You don't even, you dream of it, but you don't think that you're going to get past it. You don't, it just happens. It slowly happens.
It slowly happens
It
over
slowly
20
happens.
years.
But you have to, yeah, over 20 some
20 years of grinding
20
and
years of grinding.
Sweating and crying.
I do the same thing every time I go home. My grandmom's house is not far from the airport, and I go right by the front of her house, and then I drive up the alley and I look at it from the back, and then I go take my daughter and we get pizza at the place where I used to go with my dad and my grandmother.
Pizza mine.
Sorrento's of Arbutus. We go there and
Hey.
grab a slice, and then that was our spot. It was. You could feed a family of 4.
Sorrento's?
It was called Sorrento's.
It's Italian?
Yeah, a little pizza spot.
Yeah, I think I fucking, wait, where is this?
There's a bunch of Sorrento's.
Okay,
around.
that's
But
why
this
I'm
is
like-
in Maryland. Yeah. in
Oh,
Baltimore.
okay. I'm like,
Baltimore
I've
County.
been there, Ryan.
Arbutus. Shout out to Arbutus. And it was, you can get a large pizza for like $6 back then, and you're feeding the whole family. And there was pinball and video games. That was like our Friday fucking night. My dad, my grandmom, and us. Like your Cupids. That was ours.
Yeah.
And then my dad would always like get the pizza cut in double slices. So you think mathematically, like, oh, I'm getting 4 motherfucking pieces. And I'm dumbass later. I'm like, I'm getting 2 motherfucking pieces.
But too, it is so rich people don't grow up thinking the same way we do. Like, rich people teach their children about money. They talk about money, and they're
around people with money. Other people have money, educate them about different avenues of money. There's different connections through these different people here. Yeah.
And it's not about like, oh, you earn a paycheck and then you pay down stuff. It's like how to make money and then you get checks in the mail from that money. That's how rich people think. And I was like, oh, this is like other level. This
it wasn't until
not.
the pandemic that I shifted my mind from, all right, stop working jobs and create revenue streams.
That's how rich people think,
Right.
what you just said.
And it's the truth.
That's how
and
they
the
do
funny
it.
thing is I grew up in a junkyard, working in a junkyard, okay? And this is how I apply my education to today's world, okay?
Yeah.
You grow up in a junkyard, and yes, that fucking Range Rover over there is trashed, but the transmission's still good.
Yeah.
The fucking tailgate's still good, so we're going to part that out, okay?
Yep.
Well, as a comedian over 20 years, we all have these parts of things. So then you start clipping them out and using this 3 minutes of that 20-minute set that's good and this, and then you're building content, and then content starts creating revenue streams, and boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you got a clips channel, and you got a this and a this, and you're getting demonetized by YouTube all the fucking time, and they won't tell you why.
Yeah.
But that was the shift that really hit for me was, all right, don't go get another job. Figure out how to create another revenue stream.
Yeah.
And so far.
And so you're killing it, man.
Like
But that's the lesson I want to teach my kids. And I think the next generation, this is for like, not just for us, but for people listening, like, I don't know if sending your kid to college is the answer anymore.
Just had this conversation with her mom. Like, she's like, well, I'd like to start a fund. And I was like, look, I don't know. Unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, something that you have to go to college for to do this, then that's part of the curriculum, then yeah. But if you're going to go work for yourself, man, fuck college.
I know.
Fuck a $100,000 debt that you're going to be paying back the rest of your life.
I know.
When you went and chased your fucking dream. But also, like, it is a different world. There's 10 and 11-year-old kids opening shit up on the internet and fucking making 6 figures. And you can, your kid today could make 6 figures without ever having to put their face, body, or anything. I don't want my kid auditioning for people and like, you're just not, like, fuck that. I don't want them around people like that. None of that.
That's work.
And you don't need to be online looking like a fucking debutante and all that fucking shit either. You can go do what, unboxing. Who knew? Who knew watching someone open some shit, people would just fucking too.
I know.
20 million. I'll never get that.
No.
I'll never get that.
It's an entirely different universe. Yeah. I know. And that's why I'm thinking, like, I can't teach my children the particulars of this world because I don't inhabit the world that they do. I just don't. But I can teach them the proper structures with which to think. And I do know that my parents, what they did have, which was amazing, was the fucking chutzpah of like, we're going to escape communism. Let's get the fuck out of here.
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
That, yeah, dog. And the work ethic of like, we're going to come to the fucking valley and we're going to start this thing and I'm going to that stuff is what is taught. The skeleton of like, well, listen, figure it out. You want to get from here to here, dude? All right. I don't know what the next step is, but you better believe I'm going to fucking figure it out. And we have so much information at our fingertips now. Like, and I teach my kids that too. Like, if Ellis is like, what do crabs eat? I was like, I don't know. Let's ask fucking Siri. What do crabs eat?
Call me. I'll tell you what they eat. I eat them, and I can tell you what they eat.
What? Oh, that's right. You're the crab feast.
They're the fucking.
What do they eat? Because he got a sand crab.
They're scavengers. Oh, you want a sand crab?
No, I'm sorry. No, it's a legit crab. It's just tiny, so I thought it was, but it's
hermit crab. You mean?
Found it on a fucking rock this morning. Yeah. No, the ones that live on the rocks in the Pacific Ocean. It's a crab. It's not a big one. It's a little one.
Oh, I mean, crabs are scavengers. They'll eat anything. Dead fish, all that shit.
Well, we gave him Lucky Charms.
That'll work. It'll work. It'll work. Trust me.
The marshmallows.
It'll work. It'll get soggy in the water and it'll work. It'll get that little fucking crab be all juiced up when you guys get up. Sugar.
Yeah.
I crab like.
Yeah. And I also, like, we were talking before we got on mic about, like, I've been sleeping with our 3-year-old who sneaks into the bed, like, every night. And I was such a strict sleep trainer in the very beginning with the babies, and Ellis was fine with it. He was like, later, I don't want to sleep with you fuckers anyway. But Julian's temperament's different, and he wants the comfort of mommy and daddy. And I'm like, yeah, why am I forcing this? Like, unless it's ruining my marriage, which it's not, and he's not always in there or whatever, it's not a hindrance. Like, okay, what big fucking deal? The kid sleeps with us and he gets comfort. He's not going to do it when he's 14. There's a short window on this kind of shit, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
You lose that. His little feet are pudgy still. He's still got baby fat little ham feet. He's going to lose that shit in a year.
It's gone, and it's already, my daughter's 7, and it feels like 10 seconds. Every parent will tell you that. That's what they say. If you really want to know the true passing of time, have a child, and that has been the truest shit. But my daughter sleeps with me. We split when she was, just 1. And we did sleep train. And then when we got to a different place, she was like, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah. And then she would say, Dad. And they're like, once they're too old to say your name. And I was like, I'm not going to force this kid to do that twice. So my daughter sleeps with me. And I was telling you, like, I do worry about coddling my kid because I know what the world is like. And having no parents after 16, it's like, I don't know. If I'd have been super coddled, I don't know that I'd be the same person, you know? So I have to be conscious of not overdoing it. But man, I fucking love being a dad.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I
Well,
love that we have a dog. I loved it. You know, she has, you know, stuff to come over to, toys, clothes. Like, my daughter didn't have to worry about that. All my socks had holes in them. I was humiliated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was embarrassing to me because a lot of parents were like, take your shoes off. And I'm like, I don't even have a heel in this motherfucking sock. You know what I mean? It's just toe covers. You know, I would wear 2 pairs that both had holes in it, but it would have a hole in a different spot. So that way my whole foot was covered. But you could definitely see some glaring weaknesses in my sock
neglect.
game.
I didn't even have socks. I would wear my dad's.
I'm gonna stop complaining.
No, I mean, like they never bought me girl socks. I would borrow my dad's because I enjoyed them, I think.
Yeah.
And then they just stopped buying me girl socks, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm wearing. And to this day, oh no shit, I'm wearing my husband's fucking socks.
Are you?
Yeah, white ankle socks. Which
I don't ever have a pair of socks with holes in them. That was something
No.
small that I promised myself, like, you're never gonna fucking have socks with
No.
holes. So I always go buy new socks.
You know, I don't think like, she's still only 7, my God. And I think with girls, to know that your father really cares about you, and like that relationship is what's going to set her up.
She tells me a lot. She tells me when the kids cuss. She'll tell me all kinds of shit. So I like that I have that relationship, that she'll tell me stuff. You know,
you're
she'll
her
be like,
protector.
I didn't have a great day today. I'm like, you want to talk about it? She's like, not yet. And then later she'll be like, this one kid hit me with a water balloon. And I was like, did you hit him back? She's like, yeah, but he got me first. I'm like, did you get him back? Get him twice. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. But she tells me all kinds of things. And I like it. You know, I sit there and say, go to sleep. And then she'll make me laugh. And I just start fucking laughing. And I'm like, stop. It's 10 o'clock.
I know, it's so late.
It's 10 o'clock. Go to fucking bed. All right, Dad. And then she'll want to tell me some more shit. And I want to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm not tired. I mean, I'm always tired, but I'm not ready to go to bed at 10 all the time. And then other nights I lay there and I wake up at 3 a.m. like, oh, they're like, where the fuck what day is it? And I'm like, oh my God, I fell asleep at 10 o'clock. Man, I love it though. I love being a dad. I also like that my daughter gets to see our world. Like, dad's friends are way different than mom's friends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the people in our world, the comedy store comic. She's at the studio and sees these people come in. So,
dude, my kids call Bert Kreischer Fat Sticks. he comes over and they're like, here's Fat Sticks. Fat Sticks. Like, Duncan Trussell just moved to Austin. Now Duncan Trussell's over at my house with his kids. It's like, I think it's great that they see comedians. I think comedians are the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking coolest.
I'm telling you, they ain't seeing these people at the brunches on Sunday with mom. You know what I mean? Like,
but they know that mom is off, and that dad. They know that we're nutty.
I can't wait till she sees my name on the Comedy Store. I'm gonna have her ride by and see that. It's so funny. I've thought about that too. Like, all of it is perspective over the years. When I was young, I wanted to have my name on there just to have it on there because I wanted you to be one of the greats, and I wanted everybody to see it. And now, I don't give a shit. I just want my daughter to see that shit. You know what I mean? Go take your fucking friends, but that's my dad up there.
They don't care. That's the weird thing. No. Sorry, I don't.
They don't.
She might. I don't know. But
no.
My sons the other day, I was like, let's see how mommy looks on Netflix. Like, I haven't seen it up on the server. And I was like, I just got to see what I look okay, all right? And they're like, oh, Mom, we want to watch this cartoon. Come on. And I was like, I'm on Netflix. This is fucking major.
Yeah.
This is major, dude. Yeah. And they're just like, whatever, don't care. The other, we were watching my husband on Colbert, and he was telling a story about our children. And he's like, this is about you. And they were like, la, 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 don't care, don't care. They don't care.
They don't care. They
just want your attention.
They shouldn't. That's not where they're focused.
But I know what you're saying. And at one point, Stella will go, that is fucking crazy that my dad beat out. I mean, when you think about the attrition rate in our business, like how many people, we started together, but like so many people just disappeared.
And died.
Yeah.
A lot of people have died since we started.
I know.
A lot.
I think about that too. Coming back here, it makes me so sad to think of all the losses we've had in the comedy world. It's just terrible. I know. And we're still here.
We're still here.
Thank God.
Every time I drive by, my path to the Comedy Store takes me down Sunset, and every time I drive by your old, it was the Cat Club, I think it was.
That's where I met my husband.
I don't know what it is now. Yeah,
that's where Tommy and I met.
know, isn't that crazy?
I remember those shows, the Saturday night shows, The Bringer.
Every time I drive by there, I think of that. I can't. I usually have to stop at the light right there. It's right next to the fucking whiskey.
It's not still there though, right?
No, it's something else. But the building's still there, and it looks the same and shit. I'm like, that's the old motherfucking Cat Club. There.
That place, I would get so nervous. Like, legit, like Saturday morning, I would start to shit, and then I would shit all fucking day. And then, like, by the time I made it to the Cat Club, like, just shaking. And then just, like, by the time I saw you fools, I pretend like I was cool. You know, I'm like, oh, what's up?
You always played it very well, but you did always get away pretty quick too. You're like, I'm gonna go over here and shit myself. You ran great rooms, Tangier and Cat Club. You ran two of the best ever.
Thank you. Tangier was really fun.
That was my spot.
Looking back, because it was you, Full Charge, Mike Hollingsworth, obviously Tom Segura. This is another one. So Tommy was so fucking funny early on. I feel like my husband never went through the painful, like really figuring things. Like he started at like here, and then we were all like, how the fuck is Segura so good?
Yeah.
And I would have him close out my shows at Tangier, and that place doesn't exist. It's in Los Feliz. It's no longer there on was it on Hillhurst? I think that was a fun place. We drank a lot. It was like a Thursday night or a Wednesday night show. That was a good time. That was a good one. Yeah. It's wild because you're right. Like time just, it changes. The older you get, you're like, oh my gosh, that was so long ago, but not really.
Not that long. I mean, it's long. It's 20-some years ago. But also, you know, you just get started. You don't think about agents and managers and this and that at first. You just got to get good at first, and that takes a long time.
That's terrible. That's the hardest part. But that's the part I enjoyed. Like, I think there's a crisis of capitalism that's happening now where people are realizing they don't like to work. I get it. Neither did we.
I never did either.
None of us did. That's why we're doing this. But you had there's this mass awakening of people going, oh, wait a minute. Why am I making widgets? I don't want to be a widget maker for this guy who's a multi-billionaire.
This company that doesn't give a fuck about me and will replace me tomorrow if I leave.
Yeah, I make this much, but that guy makes this much. Why am I here? And you're like, oh, now it's happening en masse. And we're having a real fucking crisis. And I'm like, go be a comedian.
Yeah.
But that's why.
Or a flight attendant, please. I'm tired of my goddamn flights getting canceled because there's not enough of you
work
people
in a hotel. The room service is appalling. No.
They're not paying people enough. They're fucking.
No, they never have.
I've been on so many flights where they're like, got to have 3 people in this or whatever, and we just don't have them. I'm like, well, then fucking pay them better.
Yeah,
if
you guys make
paid
enough.
people, they would fly. But also, I don't blame you. You're on a tube.
I know.
You know, same thing with Uber and Lyft. They jacked all their fucking rates because people went from delivering people to food. Well, of course you would during a pandemic. I'd rather drive food around than some dirty motherfucker that probably has COVID in my seat.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, dog.
Fuck. But you know what though? Like I remember being like, because I had so many shitty jobs that I was like, dude, I would rather fucking be a broke comic and figure this shit out and spend the next 20 years trying to be a comedian than go push widgets.
Then build these above ground pools, which I did.
So the suffering of capitalism makes you go, oh no, I'm going to do this my way. I can't beat the system. You're not going to reinvent rules.
Nope.
But maybe you can work around them so that you're not
But all
miserable.
of us are able to do what the rich have done to be successful, and that's do things like set up an S corp for yourself.
Yes.
And then you can legally write off all your fucking shit, and you're taxed at a different rate. And that's how people like that get rich. And you don't even know. I didn't know any of that.
I didn't know. That's so funny you mentioned that stuff. So rich people, they know that too. So
they know the law.
They know the law.
Because they made it. They made it.
That's right. And so then you start to go, oh, that's how they do. Oh, it's on a level that you don't even fucking
don't be
see.
paid as Christina P. Be paid as
corporation.
Where My Mom's At Productions or whatever, S Corp. And then you're a company, and then everything runs through the company, and then that company is taxed at a different rate. Right.
And you pay quarterly taxes.
And you always think, just give me cash, No.
Don't do cash.
I told Annie that. You know, I set Annie up. I took care of him, and I go, listen, I know you want cash. You think cash is king, and so did I for the longest time, but I'm telling you.
You don't want it.
Annie is paying more money in the end than your company will pay in the end. Even though you don't, when the math gets done at the end, the person pays way more in taxes than the business pays.
Yes, personal income tax.
You don't even fucking know that shit. You got to learn that shit.
That's like anybody listening, if you are an Etsy creator, if you have a small business and you're earning, I don't know what the amount is, but I remember when Tom and I were doing Your Mom's House out of Redondo, by that time we were like, oh, we should file an S Corp. And the S Corp,
even if it's an LLC.
LLC.
Either of them.
Yep.
S Corp might be a little more money, I'm not sure, but either of them, protect yourself. Yes, protect
because
yourself.
what happens is the IRS, when you start to earn a little bit more as an independent, like let's say you're running a small business out of your home or whatever, and the IRS goes, well, they're making a lot of money on, what are you guys doing? And then you're doing this mom and pop thing out of your personal income tax or personal business, the IRS will fuck you basically, because they're like, no, you need to be filing as a corporation. You guys are a business entity, and then you pay yourself out of the business entity a salary, and then you're taxed on the salary. Blah blah blah. Educate yourself.
I'll give you a great example.
Educate.
I had a writing gig. I was writing and producing for a network. So I'm, what is that, a W-2?
A W-2 or a 1099.
Right. But no, I was employee, so I'm W-2. But I still would go and do stand-up. And my podcast, so all that's 1099. And then once the government sees a W-2 employee going, well, wait, this guy's got a salary. How's he 1099ing? Let's look into that. And then not look into Walmart, not look into the fucking NFL. Let's look into Ryan Sickler's fucking measly little check. And for 3 years, they audited me. And the last year, they got nothing and told me I still need to pay a penalty. And the second year, I mean, all in for the 3 years, I promise you, they maybe got $2,000. There were a few receipts I didn't have for my flights and shit like that. 3 years, they're coming at me for paying an extra $2,000, and most of it was penalties. And they don't go after companies like Walmart and these non-profit organizations like the NFL.
There's a joke. NFL,
I don't know. I feel like they used to be not-for-profit organizations.
I think the biggest scam ever is the church. I mean, you look at these Joel Osteen.
Amen.
This Joel Osteen isn't paying a fucking dime, and you're like, how is that?
And for the longest time, you could make yourself a reverend and start your own church, and then the church is absolute. But they don't do that anymore. Because people like that were doing it. They're like, well, wait, you're not really a church. You're not really a religion, but you're abusing power. And we talked about it. That little dog I have is power. That's what real, like,
that's true.
Elon Musk, great. The billionaires on it, great. Do you have enough money and power to create an animal to warm your pussy? You don't. No one on this planet does today.
That's royalty.
That animal was created by taking two other animals.
Yes.
To sit on someone's lap in cold castles
Yes.
and cold carriage rides.
Yeah.
Get a pussy warmer.
A pussy warmer. A lot of small dogs were bred for that.
Pussy warmer.
But the Cavalier, the Spaniels are also hunting dogs, no?
Yeah, she's
so
a
they're
hunting
smart.
dog.
But yeah, and pugs too. Mostly the useless breeds are just for entertainment.
But see, that's the pugs and stuff. I believe they
love
come
that.
from China and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah, royalty.
that's what I'm saying. We're over here like shooting guns in the air, and they're making animals. You know what I'm saying? You see the difference in years on the
know.
planet.
I know.
They're creating an animal to
It's
warm
so
their
true.
pussy, and we're like, hold my beer. Ba-ba-ba, That's where we are as
We're
a
fucking,
country.
what's that? We're Ricky Bobby. I know what's that fucking Eastbound and Down guy? We're that
Yeah,
guy, yeah.
yeah.
I know it's true because even when I haven't traveled to Europe in years, but when you go back, we go to Europe and you're just like, God, we're savages. Like I see other Americans and I'm so fucking like, look, when I'm here, I'm trash. Like I get it, but I pretend like I'm civilized when I go back to Hungary or like, go to UK or something. Pretend like I don't.
I have friends who have Canadian and U.S. citizenship,
Yeah.
and they tell me that they travel with their Canadian around
Yeah.
the world because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
treat
yeah.
us like shit because we
Yeah.
treat everybody else like shit, apparently.
Yeah, we get a bad rap. Rap or rep? Is it a bad rep or a bad rap?
I think it's rap.
Look that up, please. But a rep would make sense because it's a bad reputation.
But I feel like the reputation already exists.
bad rap.
Rap sheet.
Oh,
Did he look it up?
I don't
He's
know.
got
This could
rap.
take all
He's got
day.
rap with a W.
Yeah,
up
hey
here on
guys,
this
it's just
side.
me in here right now. Hold
Oh,
on.
it's just Nadav in there.
Oh God, here we go. Excuses. A bad rap. No, a bad wrap is an unappetizing sandwich made of fillings wrapped in a tortilla. No.
That's a bad rap.
Oh my God. No.
There it is right there. People also
R.A.P.
ask, is it bad rap? Yeah.
Yeah, so R.A.P. is the only correct version. R.A.P.
Got it.
Oh, it is the only correct version.
Just kidding. What? You can't hear me in there.
I can.
You can.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
A grammarist. That doesn't sound like it's right either.
I used to be so much smarter, and then I had kids, and I feel like my brain is just. I don't have the bandwidth. And Tom will be like, "Why don't you remember that? Why don't you?" I'm like, I don't know. I can't. I've been putting people's shoes on. I've been wiping people's.
I
ass.
think kids and COVID
Yeah.
has wiped part of my memory out for sure. I forget shit. You know what I do more now? Actually, I never did it before I had a kid. It was new. It was put stuff on top of my car. I'm carrying so much shit. I'll put a drink or whatever. I'll throw it in.
Yeah.
I can't tell you
Yeah.
how many times I'm driving. I hear boom, 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 and I'm like, damn, that thing was up there for a mile. You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised how long
You're
they
all
hold on.
You're
Yeah.
impressed.
I'm never mad. I'm like, ah, damn, that one was up there for a minute. Man, I'm like, Stella, did you see that? We hit 3 potholes and everything. That iced tea just fell off.
I swear. I'm like that with my kids too.
I do
I'll
it
be like,
all the time.
I'll be like, Jesus Christ. I always point out that shit.
Yep. I'm like, I was up there for a while, man.
I think it's good to teach them how to be funny. Like
Yeah.
that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's so
My
much.
daughter is funny as fuck. She really is. She clowns. She pranks me all the time. And the other night she did this thing. It's this book with this pigeon in it, and
Which one? The pigeon? Don't let the pigeon ride the bus. Don't let the pigeon.
it is
stay
one
up
of the
late.
pigeons.
I'm a
yeah.
huge fan of
and you
Mo
know the
Willems.
side eye has the
I
big side eye.
know.
So at the very back of the book, there's these 2 pages, and all the characters are in it. At like, and she'll be, and I can't see shit anymore. My glasses off, and she'll go point to the owl with the glasses. I'm doing this. Point to this, the raccoon, whatever. And then she goes, point to the raccoon with the big side eye. And I go, this one. She goes, no, that one has 2 eyes. There's one on these 2 pages that has a side eye. Christina, I looked for 5 motherfucking minutes. I'm starting to get annoyed. I'm like, where? I go, is it on these 2 pages? She's like, yes. And she's dying laughing. I put my glasses on. And as soon as I go to look, she goes, there isn't one. You got pranked in my face. Listen. It's 10 o'clock at night, okay? I started laughing so fucking hard. I was like, man, you got me good. I'm over there looking forever. And then she's pissing herself, just dying laughing. Like it's the funniest fucking thing to her to get me. She fucks with me all the time.
I live for that.
All the time.
I live for that stuff. And
All
even
the
like Julian, he says he's been saying fucking darn it all the time. And like I try not to laugh, but it's so funny to hear a 3-year-old be like, fucking.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Fuck it.
I go,
guess.
listen, you can say that here, but if you say that out in the world, that's a whole different story. You say that at school, you're going to get in trouble.
That's the lesson my dad taught us.
Yeah.
We went to see Stand By Me with him in the theater.
Great. I showed my kids the Barfarama scene.
Yeah. That was like our first, like, okay, it's so funny. These were all my grandma was involved. So we went with my grandmom to see Stand By Me and my dad. And it's fuck this, fuck that. They're going to see a dead body. You know what I mean? But we're the age of the kids at the time.
Yes.
And my grandmom's like, kids don't talk like this. And my dad's like, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And he told us, like, and then I remember on HBO, we had HBO one night, and we put the TV on, and Porky's came on.
Oh, that's a whole other level. It's
man.
Varsity.
And that was at home. And my grandmother's like, what is this? And my dad's dying. He's like, turn that. It
That
was
one's
definitely too young
inappropriate.
for some pork.
Yeah.
But if you
Porky's
remember back
rough.
then, you're a latchkey kid. And guess what? They only had like 5 movies back then. They ran Porky's like a motherfucker. We watched the shit out of some Porky.
Sames. I fucking memorized
Porky.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Dicks in a hole in that movie.
Of course. I've watched all of that. And I have it memorized.
Yeah. Porky's was
That's what
great.
formed my identity, are these stupid fucking movies.
But also they show you the big fucking redneck sheriff and the abuse of power. Like you're seeing all that shit
You've seen
go
it
back
play
on
out
then.
in comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy's
So
brilliant.
comedy, yeah. So
Porky's.
but I remember my dad saying, like, look, I know you guys talk like that.
Porky's.
But you better, there was a 2. That's how well it did. You guys better not say it in front of teachers or other parents.
That's it. That's the
that
rule.
was it. Say it to your friends, around your friends. And that's what I told Stella. Because she'll tell me, there's a cuss word in this song, Dad. I'm like, all right, well, are you going to go around saying it? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, then that's fine.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Every song has a cuss word in it now.
Well, oh my God. So we're staying in a rental house, and my husband set up the Sonos, and I turned on the music yesterday, and it's like, bitch, you pussy wet, motherfucking shit, N-word. And I was like,
that pussy, pop, pop. That's my 2 Live Crew kids. I'm sorry. I do listen to that.
I was like, babe, can you change this? This is a little aggressive for the children. They don't need to hear this one.
Our fucking parents did not listen to Luke Skywalker, the 2 Live Crew.
That was
You know what I'm talking
gnarly.
about? Yeah, that was
No.
Supreme Court all the way to the top and won. Banned in the USA. Remember,
Talk
they went
about-
all the way and won.
Oh, and talk about great marketing. And
to
talk
pop
about
that pussy.
that was a good jam. I like 2 Live Crew. They're still
They were great.
Yeah. Pop that pussy.
Luke,
Pop, pop that
Uncle.
pussy. Yeah, all right, I gotta go. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, Ryan.
love you too.
You're the
Thank you for
greatest.
having me.
Listen to the Honeydew.
Subscribe to
What
the
else?
Honeydew. Follow me on all social media at Ryan Sickler. I'm out on tour right now, all over the place. All tickets are available on my website at ryansickler.com. And
So proud of you, buddy.
I love you. Thank you for
You're killing
everything.
it. You're just killing the game, homie. You're
you
the best.
are. I see you all over Netflix.
I see you. I see you. I see you. You see me. We see each other. That's groovy.
Good to see you.
Oh yeah. All right. I love you. Until next time. Stay cool, moms. Bye.
Hi, Mommy. Thank you for watching that episode. Did you like what you see? I hope you did. So why don't you subscribe? Just click the subscribe button and, hit the notification bell so you can get notified. And also, why don't you watch another video? Watch one of these. You know what I'm saying? Like right here, down there, whatever. There's so much stuff, bro. I make these all the time for you to watch. That's why I'm here. I love you.